So Russia's threatened to take out the US and Europe's internet, warning that Russia has no restraints, not even moral ones, to stop them from cutting the deep sea cables. And NATO is saying that Russia's been mapping the cables and they believe they're planning an attack like this. And notably, if Russia were to cut the cables, it could kill the economies of the West until they were repaired. Russia's also been jamming GPS across parts of Europe, causing chaos for commercial airlines. And notably, NATO has been creating a plan to combat Russian attempts to kill the internet and to keep it running in the event of an attack. In fact, just last month, they changed part of Article 5. It used to be that only a single event on the scale of 9/11 could trigger it. Now it's cumulative. Right, so if Russia cuts train cords in France, interferes in America's elections, GPS jams Estonia, and sabotages a factory in Germany, that can be Article 5. It just really depends on how pissed off the allies are. With a number of people saying the change is NATO saying, fuck around and find out, and kind of a continuation of the Macron doctrine, which is that we shouldn't tell Russia what the consequences of certain actions are anymore to deter them from further provocations. So Russia's threatened to take out the US and Europe's internet, warning.
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1, 2, and 3. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's the brother Ron coming back at you with a quick lesson, noble and be edifying, and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and today is December the 5th. Okay, so pretty much 1 month, exactly 1 month removed from the so-called November 5th election of 2024. Okay, and with about a month and a half left before so-called inauguration, there's a lot of things going on. All right, and this article here is titled "Chinese Hackers Strike U.S. Telecoms in Devastating Cyber Attack." All right, and we've been mentioning for quite some time. All right, greater parts of last year and even the year prior. All right, we've been going into how, per the words of so-called Klaus Schwab, okay, the head of the World Economic Forum, that there's supposed to be a so-called cyber attack, all right, that could cripple the whole entire infrastructure. Okay, and he basically predicted black swan events and so on and so forth. And he mentioned how these things are going to happen at the end of 2024 into 2025. Okay, so with about a month and a half left, pretty much a month left in this calendar year. So it's very interesting to see the things that are happening now, right? And we can only speculate, as to what is actually going on behind closed doors. But we know that based on what's being put out in the open, that we're very close to that big major event that brings in, or that becomes a catalyst, all right, for the next prophecy that we've been waiting for, which is the MOTB prophecy. Okay, and these kind of events are things that we always have to look at very closely, because they all pretty much line up with what the prophecies state. Okay, it's little things like this that lead to many different things, all right, that fulfill biblical prophecy. All right, now let's read. It says, and as we read this, we're gonna decipher it, right? It says, Chinese hackers breach 8 major U.S. telecom providers. Espionage targeting Trump and Biden officials. Chinese hackers launch a catastrophic cyber attack on U.S. telecom giants, compromising calls, texts, and classified government secrets. This is more than a breach, it's a declaration of war. America is under siege, and the time for bold decision, action, decisive action is now. Now, let's pause for a second. Right at the opening, they're saying that it's somebody in China or people from China. So Chinese people or Chinese hackers, all right, have been able to hack into America's cyber infrastructure, right? Okay. So naturally, what should happen is America declaring actual physical war on China for something that they just did, right? So if we don't see that happening, right, from now till Trump comes into power, whatever the case may be, if we don't see them actually declare war on China for this right here, we know that this was an inside job. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it like that. This is definitely an inside job. Just in my opinion, I think this was an inside job. Okay, because once you start saying Chinese hackers, that's just too vague. How do you know it's Chinese hackers? And if it was, who are they? You could tell us that it's from China, it's Chinese. What if it's an American or it's a Russian or somebody else who's living in the land of China and they pushing this type of stuff? See? So let's read. It says, this is not just a cyber attack, it's an all-out assault on America's critical infrastructure. That's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. And you've had the FBI director, Christopher Wray. I believe that's his name. I think Christopher Wray. Yeah, it's got to be. And he's been talking about how, the water infrastructure, could be affected because of hackers and, Chinese hackers and all these different things now. Well, here we are. Okay, it says Chinese hackers, once again, the buzzword or buzz phrase, have infiltrated at least 8 major U.S. telecom giants, including AT&T, Verizon, and Lumen Technologies, in what's shaping up to be the most catastrophic cyber attack breach in history. Okay? The damage, staggering. The implications, unthinkable. Sensitive calls, texts, and even classified government communications are now in the hands of hostile Chinese operatives, and the situation is far from under control. Okay, now, once again, like I said, I believe this was an inside job, so that whole concept of hostile Chinese operatives, what caused them to be hostile? Because you got Starlink? No, it can't be. Right? It can't be. So, hostile Chinese operatives. This is crazy. It says, and the situation is far from under control. It says, even the FBI scrambling to patch the holes in our national security, has admitted it doesn't know the full extent of the attack. Meanwhile, Beijing's go-to play of deny, deflect, and mock is in full swing. Wait a minute. That's America's playbook. Okay, so I guess, it's just crazy. America's playbook is literally deny, deflect, and mock. It's like, let me see something here. Okay. It says, let me bring this back real quick. I think I might have missed something here. It says, even the FBI is scrambling to patch the holes in our national security, has admitted it doesn't know the full extent of the attack. Meanwhile, Beijing's go-to play of deny, deflect, and mock is in full swing. So, again, that's America's playbook. Deny, deflect, and mock. Look at the damn White House press secretary. Was it Jean-Pierre? Karine Jean-Pierre. That hoe. And what happens? She always deflects. And prior to her was Jen Psaki. She was the deflector manager right there. During the CV time, every time they asked questions, we circle back and get back to you. I'm going to circle back and get back. She never got back to nobody. Okay? But that's what America does. They deny, they deflect, and mock. There was some shit that was going on. Apparently, in different states, there's these loud booms, okay, that people are hearing, and they said that apparently the officials have been telling people, hey, you can't talk about this. these loud booms you're hearing, you can't talk about them. So you gotta deny, deflect, and so on and so forth. See, when you go to something known as I think it's a 20 or 21 Masonic diversion tactics, denying, deflecting, and mocking is all part of their diversion tactics. When you're here, they say, "Oh, it's Chinese hackers," just like how they said Russian collusion, right? During the election 2016, Russian collusion. You know, the January 6th riots. You know, it's crazy. Anyway, let's be clear. This is not business as usual. America is under siege, and our government is caught flat-footed because your government is the one who's behind all this. Okay, your government is the one who's behind all this. That's why they're making it come off like they've been caught flat-footed. All right, so continue says, codenamed Salt Typhoon. This ruthless campaign isn't just a shot across the globe, it's a direct hit to the heart of America's telecommunications infrastructure. See? So when you again, keep in mind what Carl said, that there's going to be some form of cyber attack, right? Digital 911 happening, right? What are going to be the implications of this? See? And what's going to be the actual event, the 911 event, so to speak, the digital 911 event? See, like a comprehensive cyber attack, like Klaus Schwab said, would definitely categorize as a digital 911, if you ask me. Okay? It says the hackers didn't just infiltrate random data systems; they infiltrated the telecom backbone. A strategic move that allows them to intercept live communications on an industrial scale. Yo, isn't that what these? So why do you think Trump is having all these? The people in his cabinet, they're all pro-tech, that kind of vibe. Like they're very like pro-technology and pro-digitalization and so on and so forth, right? And in the so-called New World Order, or at least in this new digital world that they're trying to push for, they want to know exactly what everyone is doing. Okay, look at companies like Apple, right? Apple and all these different companies that they have, huge influence on the people or their so-called customers. They're working with the government because there's so much information that Apple users give up that Apple just sends over to the authorities or third parties or whatever the case may be as a form of what they call data. Okay, we can collect all this data on this set individual, and then we can kind of use it against them in the sense that, number one, law enforcement already has your information, your tendencies, whatever you're doing, they're keeping tracks and tabs on you. All right, that's number one. Number two, right? Number two, let's say, I lost my train of thought. Slide. Let's go back to the article. It'll come back to me. Anyway, so it says, what does this mean? It means no call, no text, no message is safe. Your personal conversations, your work emails, and yes, even classified government exchanges, all compromised. There you go. That just brought it back to me. Number two, they have all your information, okay, per government request. Okay, so now, not only does law enforcement have your information, but also your digital identity is being, tracked based on your actual physical daily activities. Okay, so now that the whole credit system that they've been talking about is being built, all right, based on telecommunications infrastructure. Going into your social media, your phone, text messages, your calls, all that stuff is being recorded. Okay? It's being recorded whether you know it or not. And it's being stored, it's being shared, it's being sold. Okay? And they make tons of money off of selling people's individual information, if you will. All right? If you're into browsing for cars, boom. Now they could sell your information. Hey, a car dealership, say, got a guy over here, if you're a woman, you're into makeup or whatever. Anything you look up, they already got that information. They're gonna start selling it. That's all this data thing is all about. All right, form for control mechanism, if you will. All brought in the form of convenience. Right, convenience to bring in your dependency on that convenience, and that becomes a trap. Okay, it says this isn't just espionage; it's digital warfare executed with surgical precision and alarming persistence. Assault Typhoon's campaign wasn't random; it was a meticulously planned assault on Washington's college. Among the victims are President-elect campaign team, Donald Trump and his campaign team, Vice President Kamala Harris's communications, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's office. Right, so we're made to believe that the Chinese people all of a sudden will go ahead and do some shit like this. It says this raises chilling questions. What did the hackers learn? Blah 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 blah. Right. It says for a nation already grappling with political division and strategic vulnerabilities, this attack is nothing short of a declaration of war in the digital age. But I want to highlight that part. It says, for a nation already grappling with political division and strategic vulnerabilities, right? That alone, it only intensifies and it gets worse over time. Political division. Trump did not listen. You should have seen the outcry on social media when this motherfucker so-called won. You got all these chicks crying, "Oh, it's over! I can't believe you voted for him." Like, hey, I'm like, So you have that political division: those who are pro-Democrat against those who are pro-Republican. All right. So that's happening now, but it's only going to intensify. It says, and strategic vulnerabilities. Right. So when you're talking about your water infrastructure could be hacked, it's like, all right, what's going on? Okay, but the biggest strategic vulnerability is going to be these banks getting hacked. All right, once they get taken down like that, it's game over. You got to bring in a new system. All right, it's these banks. It says, let's see. The FBI's response has been both inadequate and infuriating. Because why? They're in on the play. That's why. While a few select victims have been notified, the vast majority is of affected individuals and organizations remain in the dark. Why? Does the government think ignorance is bliss, or are they trying to hide just how bad the breach really is? Well, this is Americans deserve answers, and they deserve them now. The FBI's piecemeal communication reeks of damage control, not decisive action. This isn't the time for bureaucracy. This is the time for transparency and retaliation. Shit. He said the Chinese people are denying all of this. Anyway, let's keep going. It says the breach exposed glaring weaknesses in the networks of America's biggest telecom players, AT&T, Verizon, and Lumen. And remember, I think it was earlier this year, right? There was a huge AT&T hack or whatever. People were messed up and weren't able to work, and those who use AT&T for work, like for example Uber or whatever the case may be. They were screwed. Verizon, I think they also got a hack not too long ago, a few months ago, really. So the proverbial lights have been flickering, so to speak, right? So at some point, the light eventually goes out. Okay, and they're saying there's been many different people speculating that something might go down before or right after the so-called inauguration. Okay, so we'll see. All right, but the Lord could set things up and have a whole bunch of different things happen all simultaneously to speed up prophecy. Okay, earlier today there was a huge, I think 7 point something magnitude earthquake out in northern part of Cali. Okay, so things are definitely happening, man. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to bring that out real quick. Oh, they also said that there was somebody who was being isolated because they came from Tanzania and they were suffering from flu-like symptoms. Okay, so that's also something to look out for. All right, and I believe they're in Ohio. Okay, so they came from Tanzania. At first, the story said that it was from the DR Congo, and then now they switched it and said, oh, it's a developing story. So this person came from Tanzania. But we'll see. We'll see what comes out of this. What kind of role or route Esau's going to want to take. All right, to bring in that MOTV. But hey, we're here. We're going to be watching, and we sure will be reporting. All right. Let me get this precept here, and we're going to close it out. The days are speeding up. And the more they speed up, the shorter they get. So, it's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words at my mouth. Hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me." Okay, so the warning is what we're giving. All right, it's always you get the warning of that impending danger before the danger. You don't get the warning when the thing happens. You get it well in advance. Okay, and as you get closer and closer to that danger that you've been warned about, that's when you start to take it seriously. But then sometimes it's a little too late. Okay, it's a little too late. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off there. Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, shalom.